Here's the question I got asked. As a student looking for a part-time job, should you contact the CEO of a startup via LinkedIn first or directly by email? And here's my thoughts. First of all, I don't care if you're a student or a business professional with a long-term career history. And I don't really care if you're contacting the CEO of a startup or of an established company. It doesn't make any difference. For the most part, it doesn't make any difference. What I would recommend is that you do not send them a LinkedIn message first or a LinkedIn invite first. I do not think you should send them an email on LinkedIn first. I also don't think you should directly email them, call their office, or send them a text message until they know who you are. Look, we are all flooded with communications. CEOs of startups are probably just as busy, if some cases not more busy than other people, because they're wearing multiple hats trying to get their startup launched. And so we don't always pay attention or want to pay attention to all the messages that we're getting bombarded with, especially from people that we don't know. It's really important to think about that. People do not have time to respond to every message from others whom they don't know. So what I would suggest you do first is make sure the CEO is the right person for you to talk with about that company. Now, I'm all about getting to the CEO when relevant and appropriate. But there could be someone else in that organization who could be a great connection to talk about that company, that startup, that industry, and maybe lead into a conversation of what they're doing that you could potentially help them with on a part-time basis. So it's not always the CEO. Sometimes it's other people. Whether it's the CEO or anyone else in that company, here are a couple thoughts that you should consider when you're trying to get a conversation with them. First of all, get introduced. If you are building your networks in such a way that you're connecting all around that industry and all around that company and all around the people there, hopefully you're doing that. It takes time to get there. But you want to make sure that you're connecting with people who can introduce you to the people you want to have a conversation with. So where you can, get introduced. If you can't get introduced, then look and see if they have any social content. Maybe they have some content on LinkedIn or Reddit or Quora or their blog. And if that individual that you're trying to have a conversation with has content online, read that content, understand that content, and then comment in a meaningful way. That's a great way to get introduced to them through your words when you can't get introduced by another human. Whether you get introduced or you bump into them through their content, you want to make sure that when you do start this conversation, you never ask for a job, ever, even a part-time job. Never ask for that. You should never ask for something that you don't know clearly that they have themselves, that they are involved in. And furthermore, you shouldn't ask until you have permission to ask anyway. What you want to do is start that conversation with that CEO or that business leader or that department head. You want to start the conversation about them. You want to start the conversation about their business. Maybe if you got introduced, you can start the conversation in the context of the person that you mutually know who introduced you to them. Maybe you'll start the conversation about you read their content and maybe some insights of what that content provided to you, but start the conversation about them, not about you, period, not about you. Then, as you're having this conversation with them, you want to be transparent. You want to let them know that you're trying to learn more about the industry and you want to learn more about their company because it's in the industry, maybe more about them or others in the business who are related to that industry. You want to let them know your goal is to continue learning about the industry, the products, the services, the solutions, the clients, et cetera, because you are in fact on a journey. Whether it's to get a part-time job or an internship or a full-time job, you want to get into that industry and you're looking for the best place that you can align yourself, either as you continue to grow or as you continue to develop in your business or your own skill set, or because you've been doing this for so long, you're looking for the right place. And these conversations can be helpful for you to find the right place and maybe even the right people to talk with regarding your journey into this industry and potentially maybe even into their own company. But you want to be sincere, you want to be transparent, but you do not want to ask for a job. You're doing research. You're doing due diligence to find out this is the right place. And by the way, don't use the phrase informational interview. You are having a conversation with someone to discover ideas. Yes, it's an informational interview, but when you use that phrase, that puts people makes them uncomfortable, because when they hear those words, they believe the next words out of your mouth is help me find a job. So don't do that. But invite them to a conversation and see if they would be willing to have a conversation with you, again, about the industry, about their business, about their products, their services. And if they don't feel that they are the right person to talk with you, or they appear hesitant to have a conversation with you, then ask them this: maybe you know someone else whom I should meet who may be able to give me some more insights about the industry, your company, et cetera, et cetera. So invite them to a conversation. And again, don't reach out asking for a job. Again, look for an opportunity to get introduced or bump into their content. And by the way, don't focus on one person, because if you do put all of your eggs in this one person basket, you will fail. You need to be looking for 10 conversations. You need to be looking for 10 conversations, maybe in different industries, definitely in different companies, maybe in multiple people in that company or in those companies. But if you're just focusing on one at a time, this will be a miserable journey for you. At the end of the day, it all starts with a conversation. The best way to start a conversation is to get introduced and to make that conversation all about them until they give you permission to make it about you. Hey, I'm Teddy. I'm a LinkedIn sales navigator, strategist, trainer, and coach. Conversations are critical, and I hope this idea or these ideas are helpful for you.